What's good? It's been a minute. We got a lot to talk about here.
Jumping into an intense situation, let's jump right into the action.
So basically, I've been a pretty heavy smoker for about the last high school. Kid named Alex fucking got me all hooked up to the bad shit. Of course, at the time, bad shit meant I smoked like 3 cigarettes every month. Because I would trade Halo Legos for stolen packs of cigarettes from his parents. And then fast forward 10 years later, ascended into a very heavy vapor. In fact, I'm pretty certain that I've sat down and actually gone over all the statistics of how much I genuinely vaped. And I was over this vape all day long. From literally the moment I would wake up, I would get ready for work. I'd wake up 15 minutes before I'd leave work. I'd get ready in 5, spend 10 minutes vaping. I'd brush my teeth, go up to work just to warm up the trucks and vape for about 30 minutes. And then every hour, I would start getting cravings and I would start pushing for a smoke break. And that's been my day-to-day activities for the last 5 years, maybe. As of recent, last December, I ended up getting very sick out of nowhere. At first, it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. I would wake up in the morning, I'd have a few gags, and I would basically start my day. I wouldn't actually get sick. I'd get very close. And that lasted about a week, every single day. I'd wake up in the morning, have a couple gags, so I assumed this was a stress thing. Turns out, it wasn't. This lasted into the weekend, because during the week, I wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, but on the weekends, I sleep into 7 or 8. I would still wake up at 3 or 4 on the weekends and do the same thing. I would just sit there either get something up or don't at all. And of course, this first week, I didn't have a majority of the issues. I didn't lose my appetite in this week. I still had an appetite. It was basically literally just me waking up every morning and having this issue. So I associated this with stress, and I associated this with a few other possibilities that it could be. It wasn't something that actually concerned me. On to the next week. So now we're on to a second week of this illness. I ended up getting much worse. It was the same symptoms. I'd wake up, have the same issues. It just went into the week. The only thing that changed that started to concern me, I would then start getting sick in the evenings. So it was a morning thing now. And then during this week, roughly around between 4 and 6 o'clock in the evenings, I would just get super sick. I would lose all function. I could not eat. In fact, if I had food, and the only way that I could describe this legitimately to you guys is that think of rabies and water. If I had food in front of me, I would fear that food. I could not put that food anywhere near me. It would basically activate something in my body to where I would be shaking, nauseated. I would start gagging. It was just a horrible time. And mind you, I have not eaten much at this point. At this point, my stomach was literally this. It was shriveled up. So this happened throughout that week. I think about 4 days in, I started to genuinely fear something was fucking wrong. Because at this point, I was choking it up to be in the flu or even COVID at this point. I thought I just had something. Maybe even the stomach bug that's still kind of going around. I'm hearing something about stomach bug. Regardless, I wasn't worried still. I even went to the doctors and they said, on the outside, I looked fine. They were almost pushing it to the point where, is he lying? Is he trying to get some medication out of us? I felt that. But the only thing that had been on my side at this point was when they checked my temperature, I had a fever of 100, and that confused me a lot because I was functioning, I was fine, everything felt normal, but somehow I had the fever. On top of that, my blood pressure was, I think it was 150. I have a paper around here that has all that info on it, but my blood pressure was 153 over something, I don't fucking know. The day that I went to the hospital though, they gave me a COVID test, a flu test, looked at me funny, said I looked fine on the outside. I felt fine that day, and that was actually, unironically, the day that my symptoms went away. They had put me on ibuprofen or some shit. Just basically, they basically gave me Advil and some kind of pill that reduces nausea. I don't remember the name. I don't know the names to all these fucking things. So basically, they gave me those 2 things, but my symptoms fucked off, so I figured I was fine. I would take Advil, but I just went right back to my old habits. Vaping the same, just continuing my unhealthy lifestyle, basically. 3 weeks after that illness, and while I'm still doing all this shit, it was a Monday. Same type of thing happened. I woke up on a Monday morning, felt like shit, and this time, instead of just going and gagging, I went in full send. I painted that shit. Somehow got onto the ceiling. So I'm in the bathroom at this point, 3 weeks after the last illness, and I'm just like, this feels like a stomach flu. I'm gonna stay home today. Proceeded to stay home that whole day. Felt better. I actually ate that day too. Like later on in the day, I had purchased a whole Big Mac meal. I ate that shit. The next day, I was also fine. Day 3, that was an issue. That day I woke up feeling a little nauseous. Didn't get sick in the morning, but almost did. It went right back to the old like symptoms of waking up and gagging, basically. That evening, I got the evening illness back, and it was worse than ever. Like, basically what I recall happening is I had a kind of a weak dinner. I didn't have much of an appetite for a dinner that evening anyways, so I just, I heated up some frozen burritos, and that's when I noticed right at 6 o'clock that the fucking shit was happening again. Like, I remember taking a couple bites of my burrito, and then just, I lost the appetite within 2 seconds, not even kidding, and it just became a battle. And I'm not going to go day by day because basically the illness was the same, but basically what happened this time is like my mentality, the fact that I had just gone through a very similar illness, not 3 weeks prior to this, just my whole mindset on the matter completely shifted. I basically went out and spent a fuckload of money on all my daily supplements. I just kind of went ham because at this point I'm like, this is not normal. This is concerning. I'm dying of something. Like, something is wrong with me at this point. There's no way I should be getting this sick. Because mind you, like I said, I've had a healthy lifestyle. Like, I know I've been like doing horrible things to my body for like the last decade, but every single doctor's visit, I've never concerned people. Like, things like this have not ever really happened to me, actually. So the fact that it was happening like this and I was just declining health-wise, I've just full sended on just trying to find the obvious things that were making me so sick. And the only 3 things that they could have been are my diet and my diet habits, which still isn't the best, but it's gotten better. The vaping and vaping cannabis, or mixing nicotine with the cannabis, or something. I chose vaping right off the gist. I was like, this has to be it. This quite literally has to be it, because you did kind of quit vaping on the last week. Well, I didn't quit, but I lowered the amount that I was intaking. I had to. I was fucking sick. Like the last thing that I want to do when I'm feeling ill or feeling like sick or anything, vaping. I don't like, it hurts my throat more. Like, there's just a whole bunch of factors that are behind that. I just don't vape when I'm sick. And I think that kind of, I don't remember my mindset the day of quitting, but I think that kind of just like squeezed its way into my brain. And that was the first thing that I went for. Of the 3 things that I could do to change my habits right now, that was the first thing that I went for. So I picked up my girlfriend from work, and I literally just handed her my vape. I'm like, here. Keep in mind, the day that I gave her my vape, I was still sick. I was experiencing on this day withdrawals and the illness. Like, it was combining them almost. Like, I would have the fever, the shakes, and the nausea. Like, it was basically making it into a makeshift flu almost. Like, I was sitting in my bed just fucking dying almost. Day 2, that was hard too. That day I was basically just having craving. That was like, you know, that was all the withdrawal symptoms, but that was not them at their worst. The worst was the 3rd day. And the 3rd day, like, basically the 2nd day I just needed to be alone. The 3rd day I was forced to socialize because it was my girlfriend's birthday on the 3rd day. And the 3rd day was rough. That was when my body basically fucking just desired that shit, and I feel horrible about it, actually. Like, just thinking about it, I just feel horrible because, like, I always just try to thrive to make people happy, and I just feel like I burdened my girlfriend that day on her birthday. Like, I was sitting there just having like an existential crisis. My brain was just constantly fighting. After the 3rd day, it only got easier because basically after the 3rd day, I had completely lost most cravings. The only times that, and to this day, I'm still fighting. The only times I feel like genuine cravings are the moment I get to work, which is about 5 o'clock, 5:30, lunchtime, you know, that hour where you're just sitting there like, fuck, what do I do? And end of day. So like right now, I'm fucking craving that shit. But I think if you could just keep at the forefrontal lobe of your head that you need this, it will pass. These cravings last like 10 minutes, then they'll go away. As long as you just kind of keep that shit like right here, and you just keep fucking positive and just keep fucking going, like, it's so much better. I haven't been sick for 6 days. I don't know if in 2 weeks I'm gonna get sick again. I don't know if next week I'm gonna get sick again. I don't know if tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and get sick again. I don't know if nicotine was the issue. It's kind of ironic that the day that I quit, I mean, the day I quit, I was still sick, but around the time that I quit, like the day after, it just not only went away, but I feel like a completely different human. And I thrive for you to quit. I have a feeling that in the next 10 years, we're gonna get, I don't know, we're likely going to get some kind of fucking epidemic or some bad shit's gonna come out about this vape. I don't want it to get there. I wish everybody can just realize that there's just not enough research into this vaping shit. They're banning it. Use this comment section to voice your that you want to quit. I want to be there for everyone, but I feel like that if this ever blows up, that people just need to be there for each other at that point. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.